Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Faye and today, in the spirit of Valentine's Day being this week, I thought we could read pink books for a week or so. I thought it would be a really fun idea for Valentine's Day to read books with pink covers. And actually, they've ended up being some of my anticipated reads as well that were on my shelves. So I think what a win-win situation for this vlog. Pink books and anticipated reads. One of my favourite colours is pink, but surprisingly there weren't that many pink book covers on my shelves, so we've got a range of genres here. So in this vlog we read Wildfire by Hannah Grace, Annihilation by VanderMeer, and Sex and Rage by Eve Babitz. If you enjoyed this vlog, it's my first reading vlog, so I hope it's turned out okay. And yeah, I just hope you have a fun time on this journey with me of reading these 3 books. First of all, ignore the hair. I'm trying to perfect my heatless curls. And like this side was really nice. This side, it's all just like scrunch. But whatever. I'm checking in with Annihilation. Oh, guys, I'm loving this book. And to be honest, I wasn't really expecting to. I thought I'd enjoy it. I didn't think I'd love it, but I am. So in Annihilation, we follow a group of women on an expedition into Area X, which is a mysterious area that has been taken over by something, and its borders prevent any communication in or out. And it has strange happenings to the landscape and wildlife there, very abnormal, non-human happenings. That's all I can, like, plot-wise, that's all that's happening right now. We're just following this group of women and their findings. The main reason I'm loving this is because it has unreliable narration. So the 4 women that have gone into Area X do not know each other's names. They go by each other's professions. So there's the biologist, the surveyor, the psychologist, and someone else. And we are essentially reading from the biologist's diary and notes from the expedition at the minute. Personally, like, you can't really connect to the characters because you don't know anything about them, just their profession. So that's one reason I think it's unreliable, because you aren't connected to these people, you don't know anything about them, you don't know their motives, their thoughts, their reasons for anything. The second reason is that we have learned that the psychologist, who is the leader of the expedition, has been hypnotising the other 3 women to feel a sense of calm at some points when they're exploring, but we have also just found out that that may not be the only reason, and that she may have other reasons to hypnotise them, and we don't yet know what they are. I don't know if we will find out what they are. But yeah, I'm loving it. There is one other reason, but I don't think I can say because it's a bit of a spoiler, but it is to do with the biologist. I'll just say that. But yeah, so far this has been really creepy and unsettling, which I'm really enjoying. I also get the sense that people's enjoyment of this will completely depend on the reader's own interpretation of what's going on and what's happening. I've looked at some reviews, mostly just ratings. I haven't read any proper reviews yet because I don't want my opinion to be swayed. Yes, I've looked at other people's reviews and star ratings, and they either love it, 5 stars, 4.5, or they just find it a bit meh. Like it was okay, it wasn't anything special. I'm leaning towards 5 stars, which makes me really happy. Because I just didn't think I'd love it this much. And actually, I'm finding it really accessible. Like you have the sense of what is going on here. Just because it's Area X, things happen, things are happening that you can't really make sense of. But it's really accessible writing, and I think this is something that scares me going into speculative fiction and sci-fi, is that I worry that the writing is going to be very complex, but this is so easy to read that I want to keep reading to find out what happens, if anything, because this is the first in a series, so I have no idea how this is going to end. Oh, my hiccups. But yeah, so I am going to get comfy, get cozy, and finish this book, and I cannot wait. The hair is larger than life right now. I'm just about to make dinner, and then I'm going to sit down and finish Annihilation. I've got like 20 pages left. Still really loving it, but I've got a parcel from Hachette. I think I know what it is, but I'm also I didn't. I think I know what it is, but I am also unsure. I'm just going to pop you there whilst I open the package. James is very intrigued as well. Oh, what a fail. Do you want that? Ugh. Oh my god, this is like... There we go. Oh my god, this isn't what I thought it was going to be. Oh my god, this is so exciting. So, did someone just see something? Anyways, this is Fathomfolk by Eliza Chan, a finished copy. I requested this at some point, and I actually forgot I requested this. Oh my god! This is so exciting. Also, how beautiful is this cover? This is really... Oh my god, I'm just all like discombobulated. Publishes on the 29th of February this year. And I'm going to read to you the blurb from the press release. Revolution is brewing in the semi-submerged city of Tiankawi, between humans and the Fathomfolk, sirens, sea witches, kelpies, and kappas, who live in its waters. This debut fantasy, inspired by East Asian mythology and watery folk tales, is perfect for fans of Jade City, The Bone Shard Daughter, and House of Earth and Blood. My hair is crazy. Thank you so much to Hachette for sending this my way. I didn't realise this was coming out so soon. Amazing. Wow, how exciting. Oh, I'm definitely want to get to this month now. We'll have to fit it on the TBR somehow. Thursday. I want to apologise for not checking in for a couple of days. My mum visited yesterday and stayed over. We went to see Strictly Come Dancing, the live tour, whatever it's called, which was really fun. That was for her birthday. But I have been reading, and I'm just going to update you on things. So I finished Annihilation. I finished this a couple days ago, and I don't think I have much more to add on what I said when I last checked in with you. I was just completely hooked with this, and I wasn't expecting to be. I thought I'd enjoy it, but not as much as I did, honestly. It's just one of those books where you don't know what's going on, and even at the end, you have no idea, but you love it, and you're just there for the ride and the vibes. A bit like Bunny, that one to me was very much literally no idea what's going on, but it's fun, and I'm going to stay around for it. But yes, so this has been finished. A brilliant book. I think I am going to continue with the series. I've read some reviews, and people have said even as you continue the series, you don't really get any answers. But they're great books. Anyway, they're great books anyway. So yeah, definitely gonna carry on that series, and I actually gave this 5 stars, which go me. Then I decided to go with Wildfire. Obviously, a complete change of genre, but we're reading pink books, not specific genre of books. So this is a continuation from Icebreaker, or not a continuation of Icebreaker, just a continuation in that series. It doesn't follow on from the events. It follows one of the different ice hockey players. So in this one, we follow Russ, who is actually very shy, doesn't have much confidence in himself, and is dealing with some family struggles. And at this party before summer, he meets Aurora or Rory, and they hit it off and spend the night together. But then she leaves before. She just leaves as soon as it happens, basically. Um, yes, but then they both attend summer camp. They are working there over summer, and they're kind of becoming friends. So they've still got this chemistry between them, which is really fun to read, but it's also, they both have not similar family issues going on, but similar issues with their fathers mostly. And so we get to read about that separately, and we're slowly getting to see them trust each other and open up about their issues. Yeah, I'm about just over a third of the way in, so I thought I should probably check in now and let you know that I am reading this. It's really fun. I am enjoying it so far, not as much as I enjoyed Icebreaker. I think that also might be partly because it's currently snowing outside and this is set at the summer camp. So the vibes are very different, but it is fun and I'm loving reading from Russ's perspective especially. So yeah, that's my thoughts with this. If anything happens that I want to check in with you, that doesn't make any sense. If there's anything that I want to check in with you before I finish this, then I will do. But if not, then I will probably come back to you when this has been finished and give you my thoughts on this one. I finished Wildfire. It is now a few days later and I have finished Wildfire. And I was enjoying it, but I've ended up giving it a 2.75 star rating. Which I'm really upset about actually, considering I gave Icebreaker 5 stars. I don't know if maybe if I reread that, I would find some similar issues in this and lower the rating. But let's discuss. So I don't actually remember what I said when I was about 150 pages in, I think. I was enjoying the main characters, and I loved that the male main character was a lot more vulnerable and isn't as confident as male main characters usually are. And then from there, it just went a bit downhill, I think, unfortunately. I do like the characters still, both of them. I enjoyed the setting. However, we had a chapter towards the end of Russ and Aurora back at Russ's house that he shares with his teammates. And his teammates were there. And that was just so much better than the whole rest of the book. I enjoyed the characters at camp, but I think it's because we were with the characters that we were introduced to in the first book and that we grew to love. And they were just a little bit lacking. As someone who has miscommunication as one of their least favourite tropes in books, this was all about them sharing their issues, being open and vulnerable to other people, because they both have this thing where they don't always share how they're feeling. So Russ just bottles it all up, and then Aurora kind of makes a joke of it. So she does sometimes share or overshare, but in a jokey way, and she doesn't really confront her feelings. So I liked that they were sharing their issues with one another. However, it just constantly felt like an insight into a therapy session rather than a couple explaining their past and their vulnerability to one another. And a lot of it was really repetitive. And I just when you hear the same things over and over, just worded differently, it does get a little bit boring, and I just didn't like it. My god, the third act breakup. Does anyone even really enjoy a third act breakup in a book? I don't know. I sure don't. And I knew it was coming, but it was literally getting like I had like 50 pages left, and I was like, maybe it's not. Maybe it's just not. And we've been blessed. But no, it happened, and I hated it with a passion. So much so that I even went to Josh and explained to him, like, what just happened and to get his opinion on it because I didn't know if it was just me or what. But I just felt like what happened then brought on some like self blame where it wasn't needed. I don't know if you've read this. Please let me know what you thought of the third act breakup. I just want some other people's opinions on it because I don't know if it's just me. I don't know. And I don't want to say too much and spoil it for other people. But yeah, I didn't like that. And then I didn't like the epilogue. I've had this issue with Icebreaker, but I just pretended it didn't exist. I've had this issue in Elle Kennedy's the Off Campus series. I don't like epilogues when we skip so far into the future and see them like living life for one chapter in 10 years' time. Especially in this one, when I felt like the whole book was about their own trauma and their family trauma and coming together to help one another through it. And it kind of just really abruptly ended. And then it was the epilogue 9 years later. And none of it was really resolved. So I was just like, oh, okay. And on similar lines, on a similar thought, just towards the end as well, we were introduced to a plot line involving Russ's brother, Ethan. But as soon as that was mentioned, it was never mentioned again. It was not touched upon. And again, considering the majority of this book involves family drama and the main characters dealing with their familial issues, why was it not explored? Or why was it brought in the first place? I'm upset that this has kind of turned into a me hating on this book. I don't hate it. I enjoyed aspects of it. I'm just disappointed considering how much I loved Icebreaker. And I thought this would be at least a 4 stars. So I think I don't hate it. I'm just a bit upset and disappointed that it wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be. So the next book will be Sex and Rage by Eve Babitz. I'm expecting a fun time. And the Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo vibes is what I want from this book. So it's a few days later now. This vlog is ending slightly later than I would have liked, but it is what it is. And I'm here to share with you my thoughts on Sex and Rage by Eve Babitz. I didn't check in with you halfway or where I wanted to. I just, for a few days, I was at my sister's at the beginning of this week, and then Wednesday, I don't remember. I tried to get this finished on Wednesday so I could get it up for you on Wednesday, but I didn't. And then Thursday, which was yesterday, I was just really ill, not feeling great. But today, I'm fine. I managed to finish this last night. And I don't know how I feel about this. So in this book, we follow Jacaranda, a girl who gets caught up in the Hollywood lifestyle in the 60s, in the 1970s in LA. And I have learned that this is a fictionalized autobiography, whereas I think the author's other books are memoirs. So it's very much herself in here, but more fictionalized. And the writing reads as a stream of consciousness, which I do really like. And there's some beautiful writing and a lot of connections made later on in the book to what was said earlier on in the book. But I just don't know. So I read a review for this saying that for a book titled Sex and Rage, they were disappointed that there was no sex or rage. And I do have to agree with that. I picked this up because I saw someone recommend it for fans of The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, which is an amazing book. And I was hoping for some of that, like, Hollywood, I don't know, like sexy Hollywood drama and emotion. This is just, it just fell flat when you're comparing it to, or not comparing, but recommending it for fans of The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I understand why it was recommended. It does have that Hollywood lifestyle aspect to it, with all the actors and the writers and creators and artists. It has that. Yeah, it just fell a bit flat connected to our main character, but not as much. I think just because we were seeing these things happen to her and her reflect on being caught up in this world, but it wasn't like, it's very low stakes. Yeah, it's. I apologise for the change in location, but we are having works done literally on our pavement outside the house, and it got very loud, and I feel like you can probably still hear them. So sorry about that. But yes, it does say from the New Yorker, it's a no stakes elation and champagne fizz. It is very no stakes, and I think to be able to feel more connected to the character, I needed some stakes. I needed something to be at risk almost, and there wasn't, unfortunately. Yeah, I did still enjoy it. I gave it 3.5 stars, because for the most part I was connected. As I said, it just wasn't as much as I was hoping it to be. But also, I think it could have been a 4 stars in spite of all I've just said. But the pacing was very off for me. So this is split up into part 1 and part 2. And in part 1, we have very short, snappy chapters. So quick to get through. Love, love, love. We're all a fan of a short chapter. Equally, we're all a fan of a long chapter if the book has long chapters. Like Lord of the Rings, Josh has just been reading that. Every single chapter is long, pretty much. This book, first part, super short. The second part started off short, and then each chapter just got longer and longer. And again, if it's only 10 pages, but when you've gone from chapters that were on 1 page, half page, 2 pages, 3 pages max to 10 pages, it just throws the pacing off a bit for me, and made me feel it was a little bit of a drag to get through. I do think it was done intentionally. I think it had an effect to show where Jacaranda is in her life at that point compared to where she was in part 1. So I think there was a reason for it. However, it just made it drag for me. I thought I would just check in to wrap up this video and give final thoughts on these books that I read. So first up, we read Annihilation by Jeff VanderMeer. Loved this book. Again, I gave it 5 stars. It wasn't one I was expecting to love as much as I do. And I would definitely recommend it if you are intrigued by it or want to step into speculative sci-fi fiction, as I found this one really accessible. And I will be continuing with the series hopefully soon. The book we read in this video was Wildfire by Hannah Grace. Unfortunately, this wasn't as great as I wanted it to be or hoped for it to be. I'm definitely going to continue the series. I've actually got the 3rd book in the Maple Hill series pre-ordered, which comes out in June. But yeah, I think just the setting in this one and the dialogue let this down for me compared to what Icebreaker was like. But I've seen so many people enjoy this one, so if you just want a nice, easy, fun romance, then I think you would love this. And then the last book we read was Sex and Rage by Eve Babitz. Again, I've just given my thoughts on this one, so I'm not going to say too much. I do think I'm going to say I'm not going to recommend it if you enjoyed The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, because you would be expecting a certain something from this book that it lacks. But if you like the sound of it and maybe are intrigued, I would say pick it up. But I also think maybe this isn't the best place to start with Eve Babitz's works. I need to do some research, but I think from the small amount of research I have done, the best place to start would be in publication order, so her very first one. But yes, 3.5 stars for this one. So yeah, that's the wrap up of the books I read in this vlog. I really hope you enjoyed this vlog. I found it really fun to film, even if it did take a bit longer than I hoped. There are a few obstacles in life obstacles that came up whilst I was filming this, so it did take a little bit longer than I wanted. But yeah, I'm really pleased with my first reading vlog and the books that I picked. If you did like this video and would like to see more, please subscribe and give this video a like and comment any other reading vlog suggestions, or if you've read these books, what you thought of them. And yes, I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.